Fall leaves are a reminder to us that winter will be here soon, and it's time to check the antifreeze in the radiators of our cars, especially in any that we have bought since last winter. Now, telling someone what kind of antifreeze to use is about like telling someone which sports team to root for, so I am not going there. I am not even getting into how I choose what I use. What I will tell you is how I test mine. First, you need to find the cap used to fill the radiator. On older cars, it was on the radiator itself. On newer ones, it is commonly on a plastic can over to the side. Some even have both. Now you need to read and understand the warnings on it. Those are serious. I would advise you to not open this cap if your car has been started that day. It will be under pressure if it has been ran for any length of time, so it is best to do this in the morning on a day off. Once the cap is off, the first thing to look at is its color. It should actually look like Kool-Aid. If it is brown, clear, or just dirty, then it needs to be replaced. Though bright, clean color is a great sign, it can also lie to us. Unfortunately, it is not uncommon for someone to use cheap food coloring in the radiator of a car that they want to sell. But you can buy a tester for about $5. Mine uses floating beads, but others use a floating arm. Testing mine, you can see that 2 balls float, 2 sink, and 1 is halfway. That is enough for where I live, but not ideal. I live and spend most of my winters below the 37th parallel, which means I don't see weather below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Because of that, I don't even need the $5 tester. I just need to take a sample and toss it in the freezer. 24 hours later, and I can check and see if it's frozen. As you can see from the freezer thermometer, the normal levels are between 0 and negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Mine was actually at negative 5 degrees Fahrenheit before I opened it to put the camera inside. Cold enough to turn water rock solid. My sample, though, is clearly thicker, but it is not frozen, so I'm still okay. But if your antifreeze fails any of these tests, it's not hard to change it. Just look for the drain valve on the bottom of the radiator that looks like this, or this, and drain it into a pan. You then refill it with whatever antifreeze you choose to buy, following the mix directions on the bottle. The cap is then put on loosely and the car ran long enough to bring it up to running temperature. Then let it cool and check to make sure it is still full. One big thing to remember is that not only does antifreeze look like Kool-Aid, it tastes sweet like it as well. It is deadly poisonous though, and should never be put in a container that someone might mistake for something to drink. And it should also never be put out where kids or animals can get into it.